like to introduce Marshall Jamshidi. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm fascinated by your periodic tableware, and we're going to go through this in just a moment. But how'd you get this idea? Where did this come from?
Well, you know, it's the short answer is it started actually just with this idea. The wine glass was the first glass, and I just thought.
Were you in school when you thought this up at Savannah Art and Design?
At SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. And it was kind of wrapping up, and I was thinking I would like to maybe do something on my own after school.
To get a job, make money.
Sure, sure. And then I just saw, you know, a beaker on a stem. Let's try it out. And I put it together, and I saw that it was, you know, it was rather, you know, kitschy, but still beautiful, and fun, but useful. And then once I saw that, I kind of said, okay, maybe there's more. I got to do more with this. And that's where the rest of the line I just kind of workshopped it and prototyped it until I thought I had something.
Where'd you get the money? How did you start? Because you're an innovator, an entrepreneur. How did you get the money to start?
I kickstarted it. I'm sure you've heard of Kickstarter. It's quite a big thing now. I had a friend who had kickstarted something. A lot of students down there are doing it. Some successfully, some not. So I spent 6 months fine-tuning it, putting it all together, and also that was another reason why I came up with the line, because one glass I didn't think was maybe enough. I wanted to make it a whole statement, a whole thing, a whole idea.
So did you make it? Did you get enough money on Kickstarter?
I did.
You did?
I asked for $30,000, I got $38,000.
Wow. So now we've got money.
Yeah.
And you start in. That has to be daunting. You've got to get a space. You're making this stuff yourself. You told me you're packaging it, you're shipping it, you're one guy.
Yeah.
How did you get started? You've got 38 grand. Where'd you start?
Getting the space. And I found a great space in downtown Shelton at the Conti building. It's an old 19th century brick building. They used to make corsets there, and they've split it up into little areas. And there's some artists in there, a few craftsmen. And I found a beautiful space with natural light, which I need because actually I use light to cure some of this stuff. And then I was ordering all the parts. You know, when I prototyped it, I bought it at retail at stores, but getting everything at wholesale was a whole nother tricky business that took a number of months and dead ends. You talk to a supplier and they'd be sure they could absolutely get you what you need, and it turns out a couple of months later they can't, and it's frustrating, but you just keep going at it until I had all my parts, and then actually making it.
How do you learn how to make this? I mean, you have parts, you've got to take them apart. In fact, let's look at the video that you sent me about how you do this glassware after you get the parts. And so describe to me what we're seeing.
Here I'm filling up the bottom of the martini glass with oil and water. And actually it's filled up that oil is filled up at 300 degrees when I put it in, because the difference between prototyping and actually manufacturing is, yeah, I put the prototypes together, they worked great. Then when I gave a martini glass to the person who was making some of the boxes for me, they exploded in his hot summer car. And oh my God, I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I realized, well, if I fill them up at a hot temperature, then they're actually filled up to the top, and then when they cool down, it sinks down, and this is actually a vacuum in there, and it leaves space for if it gets hot.
It's a lot of trial and error. Now these come together, you've got a purple one there. They come in fours. And you said, I asked you about a periodic tableware, and you said this is Breaking Bad meets Mad Men, which I think is great fun. How popular are these? And you've been online how long now?
Only a month.
Only a month.
Yeah.
So people are starting to find you. And you said to me you've got, well, let's go through the line. You've got martini glasses that have little colors in them and liquid.
So
what else do
maybe
you
we'll
have?
start with the wine glass again, because that's really where the line started. It's a 200 milliliter beaker. Pours to you can get a heavy pour of 250 milliliters out of there if needed. And I like the clean and strong geometry of the top.
Are they
mixed with-
dishwasher proof?
Oh yes,
Okay,
some are
this is
dishwasher
great.
proof. This is dishwasher proof.
Okay.
Everything is dishwasher proof except the fluid-filled martini
Sure, you
glasses.
wouldn't want to wash those. These are shot glasses?
Yep. Those are shot glasses. You can either buy them by themselves, or it comes with the cocktail shaker.
All right, describe how you made that.
This is a vacuum flask, which what that means is that it's a lot thicker. Like most laboratory glass is rather delicate.
Which you learned all this on your own,
Yes.
right? Okay.
It's delicate, so because you're trying to, you're not trying to heat the glass, you're trying to heat what's inside of it. But this is actually thick, so you can put ice in there and you can shake it around, and it's not going to crack like a flask,
Sure.
like this would, because it's.
Which is a decanter or whatever you want to pour in here,
Yes.
right? Now we were talking about this. Somebody else is making the stoppers.
Yes, this is a ground glass stopper and flask. This is a retort handle.
How did you come up with that?
It's hard to say. I mean, when I was prototyping all this stuff, there was a lot of drawing, and then kind of just putting things together and seeing how it looked, and then deciding that wasn't very good, and deciding this was good. What else can I do with it?
It looks sharp.
Thank you.
And you said you've got this bent just at the right.
Just at the right angle, so
that you
it
can
comes down
pour.
right through the center of it, and it's a nice, and it balances nice.
So tell me about your day. You're in the shop over there in Shelton. You're making the glass.
I'm gonna go back to
yes,
the
please,
to
please.
show you how this works. So you fill it up with ice. You can shake it, stir it,
Strain it.
and then you strain it like a normal cocktail shaker. But what this does, like no other cocktail shaker does, is that it's also prepared for making shots where, same thing, shake
Yeah.
and stir. You pull out this little plug, and then it pours right out of the spout.
I'm wondering how you came up with this in the middle of the lab, just going, I know, I figured this out. Now, there are more things coming in this line. What else are you developing?
What is next is I'm just starting the prototyping process now, but it's coffee and tea and an idea of mugs, which is, I can't really get into now because I'm not sure how it's going to.
It's top secret.
Top secret, and I'm not sure
so
even what it's going to look like in the end.
Describe your day for me, because I know you're working really hard and you're probably exhausted trying to make this as an innovator, an entrepreneur, and make this work. You've got a great line. Tell me about your day.
Well, it used to be figuring out all the manufacturing, running into problems, problem solving, and then cutting and grinding and adhering and
Stuff
doing all
breaking
yes.
or melting or whatever.
All that stuff, and that's what it used to be. Now that I've got, last month I launched, and before that, and then even before that, it was packaging. Designing all the packaging.
Let's talk about that, because the packaging is really beautiful. You do this yourself as well.
I do all the design of the package, and I actually print most of the packages too. I print this one, and I print this one, and I print this one, and I print this one.
Again, you're just one guy.
Yep.
You're exhausted. I know it. Yes?
That's the name of the game. And when you start a business.
And you came up with this?
And it's a little instruction manual for the cocktail shaker, and I wanted to make it, kind of kitschy and fun. I wanted to make it look like sort of the instructions that might come with your chemistry kit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it. At the end of the day, where do you think all this is headed? You're probably going to say, I have no idea, but I'm going to keep going. Is that the deal? Just keep producing, keep at it, keep fine-tuning your business.
Yes, what's next is getting it in stores. I'm doing it on the website now, but really what I want to do, the best way to sell this is to get it in front of people who are looking to buy glassware. And they do that generally at the store. So once I get I'm finishing the packaging, I'm doing the brochure right now. I'm putting together kind of a mail-away package. These are going to come in. These are the last packaging I have to do. And then I'll start looking really kind of locally at stores in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, trying to find some select stores. And then, not too many at once, just figuring out what that
So now you have to figure
relationship
out
is like.
a wholesale sheet.
Yeah,
So you have to figure that out as well.
sure.
I don't know why anthropology comes to mind, but I think these would be great in that story. You might call them.
That's a nice story.
Your family says what about what you're doing?
Oh, they love it. I mean, my brother was maybe like a week into the Kickstarter, he put down like the biggest order that you could get, and I'm very different from them. My sister's actually a doctor. My brother's an engineer, so you know.
Well, you're engineering.
And I was an engineer too, but I put that away some time ago.
Do you remember the first order you got when you launched and you put the website live, and someone said, "I'll order that"?
I do. It was within 10 minutes, and I was so excited. It was for a gigantic order, and then nothing. Then it was radio silence, and I was worried. But one blog picked it up, then another blog picked it up, then another blog picked it up,
and now you're
then
here.
I got a lot of press, and that actually brought in all those Kickstarter orders.
Well, I love what you're doing. Keep going. And I can't wait to see the mugs, the top secret mugs,
Yeah.
and the coffee cups and the tea cups and all of that. I just think what you're doing is awesome. Marshall Jamshidi, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
When one this in, who's this girl? Spend all night kissing, and if was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked to find myself wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. I'll skip right ahead to the last ride. The harder we look, the less we can see. Don't you know, that you